how to make a watercolor wash kind of look like a sunset. You're gonna wanna start off with watercolor paper. You need to have watercolor paper that is at least 140 pounds. Anything less than that is not really gonna take the water the way that you need it to. And then I've explained this before in some of my other videos, but make sure you use washi tape or painting tape to hold down your paper. If you don't do this and we fill this entire piece of paper with water, it's gonna warp and buckle and you're gonna get these like pools of water and it's just a hot mess. You don't need that. Okay, so let's start by mixing up our colors. We're gonna have a reddish orange color and a blue, and then we're gonna work in between those. So what I have here is I'm using, you can use any colors you want, but I'm using Daniel Smith Opera Pink, as well as some lemon yellow hue. And we're just mixing it up here. So I have ultramarine here, and you can see there's some green in this, but I'm okay with that. I'm just gonna mix it up until I get the color that I want. Okay, I have my clean water. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm using a bigger brush. It's a size 16. When you're doing washes and you need to put water over this entire piece of paper, you want to use a little bit bigger brush. So I'm just putting water on this paper. It's going to assist us in getting the watercolor paint to kind of bleed. And this is a wet on wet technique. The paint's wet and the paper is wet with water. You want to make sure you're not getting these huge pools of water, but you do want to make sure everything on this piece of paper is wet. Okay, I think we're looking pretty good. Then what I'm going to do is I'm still going to work with this larger brush. You could work with a smaller, like a size 6 or 8 brush to put in the color. That's up to you, but I like to use this brush. And we're going to pick up some of our pigment, our watercolor paint, and I'm gonna start, I want the pink on top this time. So I'm gonna start here and I'm just going to apply the color. Maybe add like a little more of the hot pink. And you can see it's kind of bleeding. Oop. Okay, we have a dog now and I noticed dog hair in my paint all the time. Does anybody else have that problem? So I'm gonna slowly go down and you can see it's getting less and less concentrated in color. Then I'm going to wash off my brush. It still has water on it. I'm gonna come over here and pick up this blue. I'm actually gonna add a little more turquoise. I wanna get something really kind of bright. And then I'm going to do that down here. And I'm just slowly going on top. I'm starting to lose the pigment and I'm connecting to that orangey pigment. If you keep going with the blue, you're gonna start to get green because orange and yellow and blue make green. Just keep that in mind if you don't want it to get murky. And super simple. I would like this to be a little darker down here, so I'm gonna add more dark. And having these pieces with wash are really cool because if you do hand lettering or calligraphy, you can do that over it once it's dry, of course. Or they just look pretty on their own. Something else to mention, if you see that there's pooling happening here, this is gonna create, once it dries, almost a circle line around where the pooling was. I don't like that look, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dry off my brush. Paper towels work better for this, but I just had a towel sitting right here. And then just kind of sop it up. Now, when you do this, you're gonna pull up some of the color too, but you can go back in and fix it. But let's just sop up some of that water. So again, I'm drying off my brush on a towel, sopping up the water. And then I'm gonna come back in with a dry brush and kind of just lightly spread it around the pigment again. And then I think we're okay down here. This might make a little pool. Sop it up a little bit. And here. Okay, and now we just wait for it to dry. Okay, this is all dry, and we can go ahead and remove the washi tape. I like to use a blow dryer when I'm impatient, which is more often than not, to dry my watercolors. Otherwise, I would say you might have to wait about 15 minutes for it to be dry. And there you have it, our watercolor wash on watercolor paper, of course. You can, like I said before, put lettering over it. You can just fold it up and use it as a card like this. You can have it as art like this. Whatever you want to do with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, let me know in the comments below. Have an awesome day.